And everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to Black Expat Life Abroad. I am definitely excited to be here with the spellers. We're going to get into it tonight, but I want to make sure you guys are certain of where you are. So, if you are the person that is looking to move abroad, you have landed correctly in the right place. If you aren't the person that is looking to move abroad and you know somebody that's saying, hey, 2025 was a lot, 2026 is my year. I need you guys to send this to them so that they can be a part of this conversation, especially if they have children. You guys are on day number 4 if you have been continuously with us since Sunday. And what has happened is giving you guys the opportunity to take a little reality check. So over the next 21 days, or excuse me, from January 11th and those 21 days ending us out of January, what we are going to be doing here on this platform is giving you that relocation reality check. That conversation that you need, the conversation that is designed to not only pair you with the resources and the people that can help, but more so what actually keeps you abroad. The success stories, the things that you need to sustain a quality of life that you are actually searching for. So many people right now are in a position to put moving abroad on their radar. I'm watching the news right now, and there's 1,000 things that are going on all at the exact same time. But it's time to take a deep breath. Reality check is designed for you to do exactly what the words mean in the phrase. Have a reality check. Yes, you can do it. Yes, it is possible. But doing it and doing it in a way where it is actually successful, those things are nuanced down to the intention that you go into, the people that you know that are going to help you along your journey. It's time to cut the no new friends situation off and get back into community. And this conversation tonight is going to shape the opportunity for you, whether it is you by yourself or you with your family, to move abroad and put yourselves in a scenario to transform your life. So thank you. Thank you so much, Vernon and Sakil, for being here. I want to make certain that they're able to introduce themselves, who they are, and make certain if you guys are the type of people that have been listening and you might need to take some notes, feel free to rip out with your pen or your notepad, because there's going to be some things that you're going to need to put into your relocation toolkit talked about tonight. So without further ado, please welcome the spellers. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you, RJ. Great to meet you. Great to be on with you. Appreciate
Yes,
you.
yes, we appreciate all that you're doing in Colombia and the world and putting together this amazing opportunity for families and individuals who are looking to relocate and create a new legacy for themselves and their family, and throughout this world. So we appreciate you. So,
No,
yeah, appreciate you. So, should I start off with the introductions, Vernon?
let's get into it.
Okay, so we are the spellers. We are the founders of Embrace Your Free. I'm Coach Sakile, and me and Vernon have been married for 25 years. And we have 6 amazing world schooling children, ages 22 through 12. And we've been homeschooling for over 20 years. So, and we are currently located in the Maya Riviera area of Mexico and our permanent residence. We are business owners and coaches. We've been on this business journey for over 20 years, and we've had the opportunity to help thousands of families create this amazing lifestyle of being able to educate their children with their values from anywhere as they travel the world, having amazing experiences while making money as they go.
Mhm.
So creating this phenomenal lifestyle. I'll pass it on to you, Vernon. Anything you
Yes.
want to add?
Just happy to be here, Coach Vernon. Thank you for covering that, Skile and Coach Sakile. And I'll just add to it that as Sakile works with the parents on homeschooling, world schooling, I work with our business owner, homeschoolers, and businesses that market to homeschoolers. I work with them in our Embrace Your Free Business coaching.
Yes. Yes. So we are a team.
No, that is awesome. Partnerships, especially when it comes down to families looking to move abroad. Sometimes it's one or the other. It's hey, honey, you think you want to leave the United States? Sometimes it's both of them. They started traveling together before they became a family and started having kids. let's get into that because a lot of people may be in a different scenario. So some people may be the person that is trying to convince one person to go on the other side. I run into people that were naturally traveling before they had kids, and they just made their family a traveling family because it was already in them. You know, how did you guys get started within this travel journey?
Question. Sakila,
Yeah.
you want to go into that?
Okay, sure. So I think both of us have been bit by the travel bug. Both of us, I would say, are extremely curious. And my husband, his father's a world history professor.
Okay.
So, like, knowing about the world and not just through books and lectures, being able to see it, I know is very important to him. And that's a value that we both have. It's not just about, we both love reading. I've read 140 books in 2025. Well,
Okay.
more than. And so we love learning and growing, really believe in life, being lifetime learners. And part
Hmm.
of that is not just taking in the information, but asking questions and experiencing it. Because a lot of the things that I read in books about histories or cultures, when I have traveled to the location, it's a different story, right? So I think our curiosity, our love of learning, our desire to become more because as you travel to new locations, you're expanded in ways that when you return back home, you're not the same person. You can't
Hmm.
rethink, you can't unsee, you can't unbe the new person you've become, being exposed to different cultures and ways of being and thinking and experiencing. So that's something as a couple, is part of our foundation
Hmm.
to continuing to grow, to continue to learn, to continue to become better and more for ourselves, for our family, for our
Hmm.
community. And I think travel is a wonderful, fun way
Yeah.
to learn and grow. So
Nah, that's
I
big
think we
facts.
saw eye to eye on that. You
Absolutely.
want to add to it?
Absolutely. Well, no, well said. Well said.
Oh, okay.
Nah, that's real. That's real because I think a lot of people I operate in a scenario, especially in the United States, because individualism and just my household is definitely a focus. And when you talk about moving abroad, everybody says the C word and it comes off so easily, but a lot of people have forgotten how much it actually means. And the C word, for the people that don't know, is community. And when you think about it, it really takes, we grew up hearing this, it takes a village, and not realizing that it started to dwindle away under the American dream. And seeing on the other side of the TSA what so many of us have seen is like community is actually thriving. It's never actually dwindled anywhere besides in the bubble of the United States. And as you grow your community, your family, the people that you meet along the way, it may dynamics and things may change. So, as people that were traveling before and you guys were together, 25 years is depends. So, there might be some people in here that are only 25 years old. And,
Sure.
that type of
Like
commitment,
me, I'm
and
forever
showing and
25.
showing up forever 25. I'm right. I got you. I'm with that. And showing up, not realizing that as you grow, you guys have 6 children, and you don't have what is it, septuplets,
No,
No,
no.
6
we
kids at
don't.
one time. They didn't all
No,
come
Well,
at one time. So
no.
when you first had your first kid, talk to me about that because some people are just with one kid and they're like, okay, can I do this? Did you guys move abroad then, or did you wait till you had the 6 kids in America and then took all of them?
great
That's a
question.
great question. You want to
Question.
touch on that, Vernon?
So
Coach
I'll touch on
Vernon.
it briefly, but I want you to get the details. Sakila
Okay.
helps is our detail and historian. But the concepts, like you talked about, of community, I'll touch on this real quick, and I'll pass it to you, Sakila, to give our specifics, our timeline. But community, one of the things we discovered as we were starting to travel, but even when we were in Chicago and we were having our first couple of children, one of the things that we discovered is to be very intentional about community, and that it wasn't enough just to assume that the area that we were in was just automatically community. We needed to intentionally cultivate and find people who similar value systems, who wanted similar things in terms of what they expect out of community, what they expect from themselves, what they expect from their children, and create relationships with them. great friendships, get our children in spaces where they can play together and develop relationships. And so we started doing that very intentionally in Chicago. And so we've carried that with us going forward. We have our families, and then we have our families that we've cultivated that like the
Mm-hmm.
Embrace Your Free family. It's a great example of that. And so we have a strong online community now of over 30,000 families and growing every day on our different on Facebook mainly, but we're also on Instagram and YouTube. But mainly where we operate is on Facebook under our names and of course under Embrace Your Free. And we have a couple of different groups. But yeah, so we've done that intentionally. So Tequila,
Yeah.
you want to give a background on how we
Yes,
got
sure.
started?
So that's a great question because we actually have worked with thousands of schooling families and families that wanted to become world schoolers. And we've worked
Mm-hmm.
with families before, like, we've worked with families who were expecting their first child to
Okay.
families that have already had, I think our largest family was 14 children, and to helping
Ooh.
them to travel the world and have this experiential learning. And so for us, it started off as a journey of infertility. So I couldn't have children. I had infertility problems and we were supposed to do in vitro and I wasn't feeling it. So I read some great books by like Queen Afua, like How to Heal Your Life, and became vegetarian in
Okay.
2001. I became vegan in 2002. And then the anniversary, January 2003, I found out I was pregnant with our firstborn. He was born in September. And when he was born, we already were business owners. So he would join us on our business trips.
Okay.
So, and he would come to the business events. So he was implemented into this mindset of community and entrepreneurship and travel from birth. so, um, it wasn't until I think 2008 that's when we intentionally became world schoolers after there was three tragic like deaths within a very short period of time. Like one of my friend's father, a young lady who went to college with me, and then my grandmother. And those people passing on made me realize like, oh, or us realize that tomorrow's not promised. So instead of one day, someday when we retire, when we have
Mm-hmm.
$400,000 in the bank saved up and all of the,
Oh,
ducks
the ducks
lined
in a row.
up,
Yep. Yep.
T's crossed, I's out, then we'll start out. I'm like,
The perfect
no,
life.
Right. When all the
everything's
ends
perfect.
meet, ends
No,
don't meet.
so no, it's never me. Not in the way that you think they do.
Right.
Um, but I think after my uh my best friend's father passed after spending a life of business and entrepreneurship and saying like I'm gonna retire early at 55 and we're gonna buy our dream house and me and my wife never got to travel the world and have a honeymoon, so we're gonna start traveling. On his first trip he had a pulmonary embolism, died, his body was shipped back, and I was like, that's me. I'm waiting for everything to be perfect,
Boom.
and then what if that never happened? So that was a
Mm-hmm.
wake up call. And we realized like, the sacrifices that we were willing to make to have this child, like, why wouldn't we give them the world? Like, why wouldn't we give him the world? Why wouldn't we expose him to the world? So we were willing to do whatever it took to provide him with the best education. And personally, it's world schooling. I mean, maybe I'm biased, but being able to travel and really experience learning, not just sitting in a classroom, actually, instead of just learning Spanish in the classroom, going to a Spanish speaking country, instead
Mm-hmm.
of reading about just the Mayan culture, actually being able to experience. I mean, I think that's a world class education. And, they say that children retain like 10% of what is it? 10% of what they read,
Mm-hmm.
20% of what they hear, 30% of what they see, but they retain 90% of what they do. So many children can't remember what they did in the classroom, but they remember their trips to Disney. They remember that time that they went to the family reunion in Mississippi, to see they remember those events. So
Mhm.
experiencing, with your mind, your thoughts, smelling, experience, doing conversations really help children learn on a deep way that they're able to retain. So I might have went on a tangent, but
No, you're
No, that
good.
was perfect.
No, you like I said, you're good because a lot of people are there tossing these things that you just said in their head, and I want to highlight some things because I feel like a lot of people, you guys, when people actually know with Mood, you guys, Mood Travel Abroad, Black Expat Life is where you guys can come and see the conversations, but moodtravelabroad.com is all about mood, which is making our own destiny. And what I think you just highlighted is what a lot of people are at. A lot of people are either, if you got three people, if you got the people that are in the traditional box, you got the people that are in an alternative box, and then you got the people that are at a crossroads. You take a look at the numbers in America, and you say 50% plus of the average American in the United States can't read past the sixth grade reading level. Yet people are accentuating their children to sign up for the American education system that's aligned not with how kids learn, what's the best ways to learn, but more so the industrial complex of going to work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. It's just lined up with that. And it's not more so lined up with a conducive environment for people to navigate what is the best way to educate my child. Now the traditional people are saying, well, that's just how it's been done and that's how it's always been done, so let's just keep doing it that way despite the results. The people that are on the other side are looking into these things, the doing portion of education. I think that is such a huge thing because memorization might not be your thing. So many people take the SATs and the ACTs and get varying scores, and those scores are supposed to determine whether or not you are an advanced person and learner or you're not an advanced person and learner. But the numbers actually show that they haven't really shown what they were looking to do. And I hear a lot of families looking at Montessori, teaching their kids how to be, self-sustainable, giving them real tactical skills that they need for survival. Because you and I, all three of us, have met grown people that have the shelf life to have they should have certain wisdoms and experiences in this life, yet they've gotten all the way to this big age and haven't gotten any of those experiences. So I want to talk about when you guys first decided to say, I saw what happened with my friend's father. It was his first trip. He had waited too long. Were your kids in traditional school? And if they were, how did you get started in world school? Because that is where some people are. The people that are like, is this a crossroads for me? Do I take them out? Or is this something where I'm going to break all the way out of traditional box and say, this is actually more valuable for both myself as well as the future for my child and the legacy that we're building?
Good question.
absolutely. Yeah. So we've worked with many, many families. And what I love is we create this lit approach where we assess the parents' learning style, identity, persona of the child, the parents' teaching style, and the time that they have to homeschool. And what we found is, some people, it may be their homeschooling or world schooling, and they really prefer to have their children in school. So maybe they will go to another country and put their child in a school, but they're still are able to experience the culture and learn the, language because their teaching style is like, oh no, that's not me. Other families, we found out that they're unschoolers. So they really let their children take the lead, or they're Montessori, or, they're Charlotte Mason. So we assess the families, number one, to find out what their teaching style is, how their children learn. You were
Mm-hmm.
talking about that before. So maybe they're a visual learner, maybe they're kinesthetic, maybe they're an audio learner. And so we help them create curriculums to maximize their child's genius. Um, for us, when we started, we had our children at home. So we were homeschooling from the get go. When me
Okay.
and my husband went to our graduate school. So my husband went to school for traditional Asian medicine, and I went to graduate school for education. We were like telling our children, okay, you're going to go to school for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
But when we finish, you'll come back home. But they weren't in a traditional school. We went to a school.
Okay.
It was an African-centered school where everyone was mama and baba. It was a vegetarian school. We're vegetarian and plant-based. So
Mm-hmm.
all six of our children are vegetarian. They wore dashikis,
Dashikis.
dashikis to
Yeah.
school,
Yeah.
or red, black, or green.
Mm-hmm.
We started with drumming circle, the Pan-African flag. They were learning different languages like Swahili and what other they would do their opening
Rosa.
prayers in like hieroglyphics like Prasanea, Wajaja, like ancient Kemetic Egyptian language. So they were learning a variety of language, and it was from an empowering perspective. Like their math was learned from an African perspective. The history was from an African lens. So they came into the world proud of who they were and confident, and learned about great African and African American scientists, mathematicians, writers, language creators, historians, like, every arrow, space, whatever. Inventors, they learned about them, and it gave them a sense of pride. So that's what we did for a couple years. And once, we finished school, we um, pulled our children out of school. But even when they were in school, we were world schooling them. And we got in trouble with the school multiple times because they're like, oh, there's the African American History Museum. We're going to Washington, D.C. See, like, you can't just, oh, this event is coming out. We're taking them out of school. We're going here. So we were still like world schooling, like
Mm-hmm.
experiencing, like the children were still experiencing the world even when they're in school. And they're just like, we're going to have to like give your spot to someone else because like we get
Yeah, I'm
paid
not
by how
hear
many
that much.
days a child is in school, and you just can't keep pulling children out of school. And I'm like, it's
I'm
okay. This is
thinking it
our
was going to
last
be like
year.
DHS, Department of Human Services. They're like, no, 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 we're missing some money. I thought they were saying, no, the kids not going to be learning. They're like, no, no, no. There's a
No.
check that we're supposed to be getting.
They were
That's
like very like upfront because we were taking them to educational events. We would get their homework and do it
not
with
their
them. So they
educational
knew
events.
that the children were learning, they were excelling. My son was a valedictorian of his school. He was like the best and the brightest. At the time, he got a letter sent from Obama as one of the top students in the US when, yeah, Obama was president. So he
Uh,
was brilliant. I mean, he's still brilliant. So that wasn't an issue. It was the
that's
money.
hilarious.
And
That's
so,
hilarious.
and that, but it's true. Like a lot of times our children are put into special education programs, not because they really have a need. It's because of the money. So one of the things that I loved about that school, they didn't allow sugar or food coloring in the food. If a child brought some candy, they threw it straight in the garbage. And before they threw in the garbage, they would read the ingredients. Can you even read this? Can you even pronounce? Is this even a thing? This like XYZ
80
LWQ,
ingredients on one
whatever
pack of
chemical.
candy.
Can you
Yep.
even read this? This is poison. This is poison for your brain. So like their ADHD levels and, a lot of the disorders that are in a lot of schools, they didn't have it because, and that was what my thesis was about,
Oh, wow.
deleterious behavior that was prompted by the foods that we eat. So I love that
I'm
about
with you.
the school. Yeah. And so they were on it. And so a lot of the schools, the way that they set it up intentionally is to get more funding. And unfortunately, it's a lot of our babies, people that look like us, that
Mm-hmm.
are the blunt of these programs. Like put them on Ritalin, put them on drugs, get them an IEP. And, not to say that some children don't have
Don't
issues,
need it,
but what if
but
it's something else? What if it's just diet? Maybe it's because you're giving them Fruit Loops with food coloring and sugar. They're coming to school, bouncing off the walls. And then they're like,
mm-hmm.
no, you have to sit and focus. Oh, you can't sit and focus. Let me give you a drug.
Yep.
No,
Yep.
You just gave them sugar. I mean, if you give me sugar, I'm bouncing. You're giving an energetic child sugar for breakfast and expecting them to sit down and focus, and then you want to give them 80. Okay, I'm going on a
No, you're
whole.
fine. No, I'm laughing because literally my girl said today, she goes, she's like, you remember when I said I'm gonna drink we got a they have Rappy here. Do they have Rappy in Mexico? I can't remember.
Yeah,
But
in Mexico.
yeah, they do.
We
Yeah.
do.
So yeah, they do, definitely. So Rappy in Colombia, I never got one when I was in Mexico, but in Colombia, if you order a bunch of times or whatever, they give you like a gift. Like it always something random. And they gave me a random energy drink. And I was like, today I'm not gonna drink coffee. I'm gonna drink that energy drink. She said, "You remember when we were on the cruise?" And I said, "You know, we got to stay up so we go, you know, to go to the club or the party or whatever." And I said I was gonna give you a Red Bull, and you were like, "I don't know about having no Red Bull. It's gonna be too much energy. It's gonna be having. I don't need wings." So when you're talking about the kids and the Fruit Loops, and I'm like, no, 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 I get it because some stuff you ingest and it's like this is mass marketed and it's absolutely making it's not only making me feel crazy, but more so it's like it's killing me or it's causing ailments, physical ailments, mental ailments, and blockages and things of that nature. Even when it comes to the fruits and the vegetables, you guys being plant based, you guys know it's even weird to navigate that in America because of plant coatings. That's like I said, we got plenty to talk about, but that is definitely good to keep on your radar and knowing what that is because a lot of people are saying I can't really do anything. You know, the food is the food. The organic food costs a lot, and you know when you guys. I would say that you guys are not the normal and typical family that may be watching this as far as where you guys started and how you started versus where a lot of people are. But I do know because of what you do, you actually are in a scenario where you talk to these people all the time. So for the people that aren't in the position to have sat in front of you and aren't privy to, okay, well, I'm in a traditional box or I'm at the crossroads of wanting to stay in a traditional box. You know, what do you tell these people when it comes to world schooling that makes it make sense versus I'm already thinking like this?
Yeah. So number one, I only talk to people that have that interest. We're not into like if you believe traditional is the best, then bless you. If it works for you, I love it for you. So we work for those who are already like thinking or curious about it. You have to be either families that are like, this is what I want. I see what you're doing. I want that. How do I get that? Sign me up. Or people like, I've been thinking about this. This is something
The
I'm
crossroads
curious
people.
about. Yeah.
Got you.
The crossroads people.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if it's something that's not even on their radar, something that they would never do, it's just a waste of time and energy. It's just annoying them and just wasting time. But, you know, we have like groups, you know, if they are curious, where we talk about this, like free Facebook groups and communities where we share this information and we can help them. We have books. We have some free books that they can read. We have some other resources, paid resources to help them. We, you know,
On
we have like
embraceyourfree.com.
master classes where they can get on as a group that's curious. But typically, the people that I speak to one on one are already those that are like, yeah, I've been watching you for a while and that's what I want to do. Like, that sounds like an amazing opportunity. I love traveling. I would love
Yeah.
to travel with my children. I just don't know how I can afford this or how I can make this work. But I know this is what I want. And so we just help them put the pieces together. And so we
Okay.
have families that have a home base like in the US and they may just want to like travel maybe 2 months of the year
Okay.
to, you know, expose their children. We have families that want to do a gap year. So they take a year off of work from their savings and just travel the world with their family. We have those that are road schoolers, so they work remotely or have business with employees. And so they travel, they're nomads, digital nomads, like traveling around. We have families they work with who are expats who travel and want to stay in locations for long periods of time. So we help families from the whole gamut, you know?
Okay.
So it's like, what are your needs? We assess them. We have like assessments for family to see exactly where they are and what their
Hmm.
next step is, you know, and really to clarify what their dreams, because the way that we started may not be the way that someone else started. But we
Yeah.
started off small. We started off with weekend travel. Then
Hmm.
we started like 1 week in a month. Then we started 1 week a month. Then it was 1 month a season. Then it was 6 months a year. And then 2016, that's when we became full-time, like nomadic road warriors. We were traveling to hundreds of cities all over the US. We would spend like 3 weeks in this state, 3 weeks in that state. So we were traveling and experiencing the US. And then after we finished it in 2020, that's when we were going to start um, becoming like doing the more expat, you know, traveling the world. So we've done it all.
Yeah.
So we know like the pitfalls to
You said y'all
avoid, what
finished
to
the
do,
United
what not
States.
to
I've never
do.
really heard that sentence put together the way that you like. Yeah, well, you finished the United States, and I've just never heard that. I was just like, finished the United States.
Not that
That,
we're like
but that's dope
done,
though.
but we've
Like,
traveled the US. Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I get
So
that,
we
and
knew that we wanted to travel internationally. So we wanted like, okay, let's start home and then travel outside. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, you're good. No, you're good. No, just I've just finished the United States like that. I probably won't finish the United States because there are some states that will not see you, boy. That is just going to happen. It's just not going to happen. But that is definitely, because a lot of people, aren't in a scenario where they may be doing a lot of traveling with their family, and they're looking at this move abroad as like a fire hose. They actually think they have to go into the furthest part of the deep end in order to actually go about doing it. And you said a couple of things that I think went over
Yeah.
people's heads. You were like, hey, we started off with the week. We started off with the 2 weeks, and then we went to a month, and then we gradually went there. And a lot of people are, I'm seeing it, and I know you guys are. They've never been anywhere, never left the United States, maybe never leaving left their city or their state. But because of what's going on in America, they are looking and doing the research, and they're looking at the places that they can go to, and Thailand and what's the other one? Indonesia are the ones where it's so cheap and it's everything. It's painted this beautiful way, and what I'm seeing is families moving abroad with unrealistic expectations, going into the furthest deep end of what relocation is, which is you being a full day ahead, 12 hours away from, at least if you're Eastern time. If you're on West Coast time, you're even probably worse. These things are all things that people put on their plate when it comes to relocation, and not realizing that you don't have to do it all at one time. That's why I tell people, like, don't go sell
No,
out
you
yourself.
don't.
Like, I know you're excited to see us over here in Medellin and Playa del Carmen, but just wait. Don't sell everything yet. Make sure you like it before you go getting that
Yes.
involved. And I know you guys have been in Mexico for a
Yes.
while. What put it on your radar, and what made you stay?
You want to go into that?
Great question.
I'll
Yeah, let
pass the
me.
mic over to you, Coach
All right,
Vern.
I'll get into a little bit here. So great points. Great points. So some of the things that we work on, and we worked on ourselves with this. Tequila mentioned my father was an African world history professor, so I got an understanding about the world kind of early on, and that helped me with some of the stuff you're talking about. RJ mentioned there, and not having that extreme on either side. So we run into families who will have a really kind of rose-colored view of the world, and they'll go and stay in
Mm-hmm.
resorts. And they won't leave the resort, so they just have the kind of this resort view of different places. And then we have other families who have a CNN, Fox News kind of view of everything outside the United States as a favela or a shanty town, or in Mexico they have different areas that they'll call them different things in Mexico. I forget the name of them, but they think that that's what they're going to see. So they have on either end of the spectrum, and so that's one of the things that we kind of help them with, is have a more realistic view of the international community. And that's one of the things that we kind of have worked to do as well. So, you know what, I was going to, I forgot what the actual question was. I was thinking
Mexico.
about that.
Why did we choose Mexico?
Yes. So
I get that.
why Mexico came on the radar, it was, I'll let Sakila kind of get into some of the more details, but I'll tell you some of the beginnings of it. we actually were interested in traveling the world kind of in general. It wasn't specifically Mexico. Even now, we use Mexico as a base, but we actually still come back into Houston, Texas, come back in Chicago where our families are. Houston, Texas is one of our bases in the United States. And then we're looking at some other countries in terms of there's something called flag theory, where you have different bases, different locations around the world. So that's one of the things that we actually are keen on, and one of the principles we enjoy. Having different residencies, different citizenships in different countries, I think is very important. But Mexico, because of and I'll let Sakila get into the details of it, but Mexico is a nice for families out there. One of the great things about Mexico, it's very similar to the U.S., so it's a nice starter. And Latin America, kind of in general, South America, Central America, it's a nice place to go when you're first leaving the U.S. You're not too far. We're roughly an hour, 2 hours away from Houston or from Chicago, even, and it's pretty similar society-wise. Mexico is relatively similar to the United States. Spanish, a lot of people have some Spanish knowledge. Mexicans, most of them speak. Some a bit of English, so it's a nice kind of beginning location to go to. So we kind of worked out, but we had some other things we were doing here too, business-wise, that it kind of lined up perfectly. And I'll let Sakila kind of tell the more specifics of it. Sakila, you want to get into that?
Yes. So, okay, so like we said, we were finishing up our like US tour, and we were gonna start our international 100 countries tour in 2020. And so our first country, because it's close and we have been there before, was going to be Mexico. Also in the Maya Riviera area, we have been here before for a global business event where it was like networking, really helping people to expand their mind and create their realities. Our first trip in Mexico in 2013 was with our mentors and coaches, which was really powerful. And then in 2020, there was going to be another event with a company that works with business owners, helping them get their flags to get multiple citizenships, passports, and bank accounts and residencies and all of that. So we were coming to this area for this event, and of course, it was canceled um, because of COVID. And so while we're just like, oh, we're gonna come here anyway, and the event will probably be here next year, so let's check this area out. It must be nice for like these two events where a lot of the people in the group were millionaires, sometimes billionaires. So I'm like, this has to be a great location for like these type of individuals to choose this as their place to host the event. So we came here, and it was great because the US was locked down, but when we got here, things were pretty open. Like the first week we came here, children were knocking on the door saying, "Can your kids come on and play?" I'm like, "Sure, kids, get out, go play, make friends." You know? So it was really great. It was like the US in the 80s, 1980s, where
Yeah,
children
I
like
got you.
ride their bicycle, knock on the door. Can they come out to play? Yes, And so it was just such an amazing, accepting, just environment that I wanted my children to experience. So it was really great. We had a 6 month tourist visa, and of course that expired. So it's like, what's the next step? We were planning going to places like Colombia next, but the rules kept changing. They're just like, well, if you come, you have to get quarantined, or if you come, you get a special insurance. If you come, you have to do this, do this. So the rules kept changing. And
Yeah,
I'm like, there's 8 of us.
Right,
So
right.
if one of us is sick, or, it just will blow.
it's
So we're
everybody.
like, we're just going to stay here. So that's when
Yeah.
we started the temporary residency. We decided, okay, let's just chill here until things unfold. And so we got our temporary residency, and we're like, the event did come, and a lot of people, to get the additional residencies. And the event was like, Mexico is a great place to get a permanent residency. So we're like, okay, well, let's do it.
Do it.
So
Mhm.
that's our thing. We just got our permanent residency, this year. So the
Congratulations.
rest of the family will get theirs in the next couple months. Yeah, the next couple months. Everyone
Okay.
will be, and so now we'll be making moves to continue our travels, and
The
we're
flag
actually
there.
making moves to get some passports. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
passports
saw
and
something today
citizenships in
that
other
kind
countries
of
are next step.
made me a little nervous about getting a second passport. They were saying they're introducing something about how many passports American citizens can hold, and these things are changing consistently, especially with
Yeah.
Yeah.
unchecks and balances going on in the United States. And I know a lot of people. It kind of brings me to one of the last topics I want to touch on this conversation with you guys, because I know Vernon, you do something very specific when it comes to our entrepreneurial people that are considering world schooling, homeschooling, and leaving the United States. How do I go about doing it and making money? Those things I'm starting to see, the traditional jobs, the traditional corporate jobs, even the ones that came out of COVID, since you were mentioning that, they're not as abundant anymore. Most remote jobs have returned to office. They've got some sort of hybrid scenario, or they're just we're back. And a lot more people are looking into career changes, taking a side hustle or maybe just something they have in their heads, and globalizing it to the way
Absolutely.
that they can do something similar to you guys, whether they're just an individual or they're with their family, and say, hey, I can create a business where I can still have access to US dollars and relatively global dollars and create a great environment for my life and my family to live in. So talk to me about that, because I know that's another important piece of Embrace Your Free.
Absolutely. Yeah. Very important and great point. Like you said, on the piece of, how do I fund this dream? I want to live abroad. I want to do these things, traveling. How do I fund this? If you're working a corporate job, how's that going to look? If you're working, like you said, you want to get side hustles, how's that look? If you have a more traditional business, if you're a nomadic, you know, um, business nomad, and you're or laptop warrior, they have different different names for them. But if you're
Mm-hmm.
nomadic, how does that look? So yeah, absolutely. So we have a system that we help our business owners with. We call it our 3M system, and the last M on that is making your money mobile. And so we work with our business owners, we work with our professionals to see what the best way is for them. And yeah, things have changed significantly. Before COVID, there was a way that we were going about doing things. During COVID, a lot of companies opened up, of course, remote. So that was perfect for a lot of the clients that we have. They were able to go remote. The companies were setting them up on the remote, so they were coming down to Mexico, going to other places.
Mm-hmm.
Have their VPN set up for Florida or Texas or wherever they're from, and
Mm-hmm.
they're living a life in another country. So that was beautiful. But like you said, or post COVID, a lot of companies made that switch where they want to calling people back into the office. So yeah, it's a challenge, but there are ways to operate it. And depending on the job that you're working, depending on your relationship, and this is one of the things we help our families with as well, is who are working jobs. Some people are able to talk to their boss and work on the situation where, okay, I'm going to work hybrid. I'm going to work 2 or 3 days. So maybe they can do weekend things. Maybe they're off or they're at home on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in the office. So they can do a hybrid type of situation for some folks. But it's a matter of, like Sakila mentioned earlier, figuring out what the best solution is for the situation that you have, for what you're working with. Similar to how we work with our children in terms of we work on a strength-based model with our
Mm-hmm.
children. That's one of the things that motivated us to homeschool in the first place, is because we wanted to be able to educate our children and based on their strengths and educate them in the best fashion according to those strengths and those desires that they have. Similar thing with business. I want to work with people. I do work with my business owners and my professionals based on what's going on in their lives. And with the business owners that we have, there's so many opportunities for like you mentioned, the gig economy that we have, where people will have side things going on in terms of turning those side things into full-time things and real things
Mm-hmm.
and bringing in some serious money. For our business owners, there's so many opportunities with AI, with kind of what we're doing as far as working with people through social media, working with different technologies to help to automate or help to do some of the things that you want to do in business. So there's so many opportunities available for our business owners, for our for the gig economy as well. And so we work with them on the different ways of doing that and help them get set up. And we've been able to help numerous families over the last, what is it now, 2019? So about 6 years, helping numerous families do that. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's a very important piece. But you don't have to do it just one way. That's the finishing
Yeah.
kind of message I want to finish with here. And Sakila, if you have anything to add to this,
Yeah.
I want to encourage my families. It's not just one way. Because a lot of times they're like, oh, were you wealthy before you did this? Is this how you did it? Oh, Vernon had a business, so you all go, which I did. I had a business, but it's not necessary. You don't have to have a business. You don't have to have, like Sakila said, a gazillion dollars in the bank. It's not necessary. That's nice if you do, fantastic, rock and roll. But you don't. That's not necessary for you
Yeah.
to start living the life of your dreams
Yeah.
and get on this path and
Absolutely.
start, doing what you really want to do, what you
Yeah.
feel is best for your
Mhm.
family.
Great
Sakila.
point. Yeah. I agree with everything that Vernon said. And a lot of the families that we work with, they don't know like how they'll be able
Mhm.
to make money. So again, we're all about assessing you based on where you are. So part of the 3M system is we assess families and we use a concept called ikigai, which is a Japanese concept that means why did it just drop?
Your purpose for your life. Yeah.
Your
Okay.
purpose. Yes, your purpose for being, right? And so there's 4 concepts that we work with families. We find out what they love, their passion. Then we find out what they're good at, like out of the things that they love. Then we find out what the world needs from them, and then also what the world is willing to pay for them. And then once we
Hmm.
determine that, we help them make it mobile. So, like, we work with you if you're established business or employee to help you make it mobile, but we've also helped many families start their money maker so that they can make money from anywhere. So we've had families that have done e-commerce businesses while they're world schooling. We have families that have traveled and done like singing, entertaining. We have families that do public speaking. We have families who do investing in stocks. That's their way that they're able to make money from anywhere. We have families that have mobile bars, mobile trucks, people who like will travel around and do hair. We've had, what are some other things? We have lots of coaches,
Yeah.
course creators, people who
Real
write
estate.
books, real
Yeah.
estate. We have
Yeah.
real estate professionals who's able to do that from anywhere, insurance professionals, people who may be travel agents. So it's not, we don't just help them do one thing. So they're just like, oh, so what do you do? It's not a matter of what we do because we do what's in our ikigai. It's like what we're good at, like what our purpose is. And we help you discover your purpose and to create money from anywhere doing it.
Nah,
So yeah.
nah,
So
that's real. That is
mhm.
real. I hope that I've been seeing the numbers. There's been a lot of people that have jumped in and tuned in the conversations. So, um, I know we were discussing something, but I wanted to at least wrap up with one question that we are able to cover with the people because I know a lot of people have been inspired by this conversation. They may feel a little bit more realer after seeing somebody. They might say, "Hey, I don't have 6 kids. I have only one." So if somebody with 6 kids can do it, I can certainly do it, especially with some guidance. What would a person that had looked at this conversation and was inspired by it, what would you tell them their first step needs to be after digesting what we just talked about here tonight?
Yeah. If you have questions, feel free to reach out to us. We have like community. We have a guide that we can provide them. It's a success guide to world schooling, and it will give them the first steps to take to get started in this process if this is something that they're interested in. And then it also is a way for them to contact us if they have any questions once they process.
Yes.
Do you have?
Yes. Embraceyourfree.com/b/guide.
Mhm. So that's a freebie for you.
Yes.
There you
A free
go.
guide.
It's the success guide to world schooling. So again, embraceyourfree.com/b/guide, GUIDE, as Coach Vernon. Just share.
I hope everybody that's in tonight felt like this conversation was part of that reality check that they needed. The reality of it, if you can do it, yes, you can. Do you need some help?
Yeah.
Yes, you do. It's not on you because the world and America didn't teach you all the way to get rid of them and cancel your subscription to the United States. They weren't supposed to. But what we have done here on this platform is continuously bring the conversations, the people, the resources, the real talk, the reality check that you need to actually make it abroad, but not only just buy a ticket, book a flight, buy a property, land somewhere, and say, hey, I did it. No, you want to stay. Tonight's conversation, the people that you've met tonight are designed to help you get that ability to stay, to succeed, to increase that quality of life that you have been looking for, transforming your life, whether it is you by yourself or it is with your children. You guys are definitely for a treat. 2026 is going to be busy. We have a number of relocation tours available for you. These are designed to take the thought process, the dream, and make it an actual reality. Connect you on ground, not only with the real estate lawyers, the immigration visa help that you need, the community leaders that can help you figure out where to volunteer, how to get active in the community that has welcomed you. But we also do our best to connect you to the people that will help shape what your new life is, that community, friends, colleagues, co-workers, whether they're Colombian, Mexican, other Americans, other people that you've met from around the world, all in one new place together. This is what location tours are. Give you that real talk, the real thing that you need to determine before you go and sell everything that you own. Take all your kids out of school and say, we're doing world schooling. Take a deep breath. This is designed to help you increase the probability of success. Hope this conversation tonight, despite the technical difficulty, has been valuable to the people that have adhered to the conversation and will adhere after the conversation ends to all of the things that were left out on the table for you guys. You guys can go to moodtravelabroad.com. That is OOD, travelabroad.com. There you will find all the resources that we have put together. There's an entire library of free resources that are there for those people who maybe don't do something financial. I can at least get you started. When it comes down to things that we provide, whether it's visas, consultations, location tours, relocation in a box, and even our conversations and how to get connected to spellers. You guys can catch all of this there and all of the real talking conversations here on this platform. Make sure you are sharing this with somebody. Please subscribe because you're going to get a notification anytime we have somebody on. I appreciate everybody's attention for tonight. And as always, make certain that if you are really looking to move abroad and you consider transforming your life, that you are doing it with intent, because that is the only way that you are actually going to succeed meeting us on the other side of the TSA. So tonight, it has been special, and I appreciate the spellers for their time. I will see you guys mañana. Tomorrow is another conversation, so make certain you come with your tools ready to be sharp. My name is RJ Mood, and the spellers, you guys have been great. I appreciate it as always. Thank you once again, and to all of you in the audience, thank you as well. I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Thank you. It's been an honor.